Hi, Maria Fernanda. Thank you so much for joining me today. And yeah, to have this moment to really get to know a little bit more about Salvando Mares. So, to start, can you tell me a little bit about who you are, what inspired you to create Salvando Mares, and work in the work in environmental conservation and social impact that you're doing?
Hi Ingrid, thank you so much for inviting us. My name is Maria Fernanda. I am business administrator. We have a focus in tourism. I'm 29 years old. Uh, I love the nature, so in this way, Salvando Mares born in 2021, more or less. Salvando Mares is an environmental foundation. So we want to conserve our planet by education, by practice. So I am so excited to be here. Thank you so much.
Oh no, it's wonderful to have you here and get to know a little bit more about Salvando Mares. Can you tell me a bit more about the mission and the vision of Salvando Mares and the actions you take to achieve them?
Salvando Mares, we want to get like a new conscious about the care of our planet. So our focus is education, education based in practice, because we want to get out of the classroom and go to natural spaces and get the real information to be a more conscious people with all the realities that we have in world. For example, the plastic pollution or animal cruelty, a lot of topics that we have now in our planet, and we want to teach to the other person that in your house you can be more responsible with the planet.
That's really great. And I think that's where you really need to start when it comes to conserving and making sure that there is an importance to preserving our planet comes from education and awareness, right? That is key factor for people to really understand why we're doing this and the mission behind your programs. Can you elaborate a little bit more about the environmental education programs that you have and how have they been the most effective that you have implemented?
Okay, the education is the most important thing for us, but people people think that education is only in a closed space in a classroom. So we want to get out and touch the problem, like more or less. To we need to uh, get an impact to the people with the reality. It could be a bad thing or a good thing. For example, you need to know that your bad impacts are real. Okay, when you use a lot of plastic in your house, you can't see that in your house because you uh, go with the trash and no more. Um, so we want to teach to people that we have a huge responsibility, and education is a big challenge, but we think is the best tool to generate a really good impact. So it's a big challenge, but we think and we can see that is a big impact too. And now, because we born in 2029, and from that year we are getting a lot of spaces of education. Is a different education, not a traditional in a traditional way, because we want to involve to people with the all problematics that we have. So education is a big challenge, but we have a really good results.
Hmm. And knowing that this is one of the challenges that you face when it comes to having education, how do you face it with the community? How do you gain community support to help you overcome it?
Okay, we get the support or the community support by showing them all the benefits that have all the benefits that the environmental conservation have. For example, we work with a lot of communities located in the beaches. So if you conserve that ecosystem, you can conserve your food, for example, because they fish and they eat from that ecosystem. So are the benefits of the conservation are the best tool for getting close to the communities. It's difficult because they have a lot of different ways to do all the things by the
Mhm.
culture. It could be or have a really huge damage by the environment, but we show them different ways to make uh, their things.
Mhm.
So that is the most important tool, making a really huge benefit about our programs. Um, Maybe being real because they think that the people can help, but the people want money benefit, right?
Mhm.
So we want a benefit for the environment, the society, and the economy too. So we share with them that mm, that way to make the things,
Mhm.
getting close three things: economy, society, and environment.
It's really great to see this approach that you guys are doing when considering the economic, the environmental, and the social aspect, especially with very remote communities where they might not understand, or they are heavily impacted much more faster, quicker to see that environmental impact in their small communities. But for them to understand the awareness that if you don't tackle or look at ways to really remove or conserve the area by reducing plastic and other sort of waste and land that goes into the oceans, or to their communities, that will have an impact on their economic, right? Because most of them are, they're mostly fishermen. They survive. Their way of means comes from going into the ocean, or getting the catch of the day, and that's where their means come from. So for them to understand that there's a benefit to conserve the area and reduce, the amount of plastic that is being used, or help to really put a focus on that, they can see the societal and economic impact that it will have in the long term.
Yes,
So knowing that you work with the communities, you also spoke about tourism, right? And so
yes.
how do you ensure that tourism activities are both environmentally friendly but also have a beneficial uh, aspect to local communities that you work with?
We work directly with the communities, so we don't have intermediaries. We pay directly to them. We consume local food, local services. So in that way, we have like a part of security that we are improving your economy. So it's very important for us get the like the confidence with the community because we consume all the services, food, hotels, transportation, activities.
Yeah, that's really great to see. And I think that also really helps with tourism, especially when you have, foreigners coming from so many different places. If they are part of those programs as well, nationally from, from bigger cities, bigger communities, to understand how it is and the benefits of really helping that community, that local community where you're going into. So knowing that you work with either tourists as well with the local community in going into these areas that are impacted by so much waste that goes into the oceans and you do these beach cleanups, can you tell me a little bit more of the specific initiatives that Salvando Mares use to manage and repurpose the waste that you pick up?
Ingrid, we work with the local companies that provide the public services to the communities. So, in that way, we provide them the all the material that we recollect in our beach cleanups. It's really difficult to get a security about the end of the cycle of plastic, but they have programs that recycling programs that have a really benefit about the communities and the environment.
Yeah, that's good. And I mean, I feel like it's a journey, right? We're all learning how to grow, how to improve, and being transparent and accountable for what you're able to manage and control goes a long way rather than, and leaves to where you're at to understand where improvements can happen, right? Where those challenges are happening. So it's good to see examples of that circular economy, especially within the plastic practices of reusing the plastic that you guys are picking up for other sorts of, products or services that help that local community. So it's really good to see that. Um, all right. So can you tell me a bit more about how do you envision the long term of the programs that Salvando Mares is creating to help strengthen the communities? How do you see that long term impact?
We have a really big dreams in that topic. In the long term, we want to continue with the environmental education programs. Now we are working with schools, making a recycling program. They have like a food program, is a federal program, and we want to continue with that program for more or less 5 years, because we want to teach all the schools in our town in Medellin. We want to teach them, all of them, this program, but we want to get like an expansion, because we want to impact a lot of places in Colombia first. Um, if we can work outside, it will be a really like a, I don't know, it's a dream, okay? And in the long term, we want to improve our uh, education programs, maybe with universities or kindergartens. We want to impact different types of population, not only students, not only travelers. We want to impact all the communities. So in the long term, I think that is the our biggest dream.
That's wonderful. It's really great to see the future plans and also the partnerships that you're creating on a federal level with governments and helping to create, yeah, continuing to educate, raise awareness. So that's where it starts. It's especially with children. It's really great to really look into the next generation and really
Yeah.
help them understand. exactly, yeah, how to conserve this beautiful country that is Colombia, as well as our planet.
Yes.
So it's wonderful to see. Um, with knowing that, knowing the future plans and knowing the partnerships that you guys are creating and the future, yeah, the future mission and vision that you guys have in place, is there any advice that you can provide the public or the communities, those who are looking to practice more environmental or social stewardship in their communities?
Yes, it's really simple. You need to start with little things or big things, but I think that is better with little things. You can change your habits. You can invite to your community to change the habits, but we need to start because we are overthinking all the time. Oh, that's right, or that is very huge. I can't. My community can't. But you need to start. We started, and we are, if we look forward, we say, oh my god, that is very huge. We never imagined that we can get all these goals or work with the communities or have an education program. So if you are only one person, or you have a group, or you are a community, or you are in a school, in an university, you need to start. That is
Mhm.
my advice.
Oh, thank you so much, Maria Fernanda. That's a really
Thank you,
good,
Ingrid.
really good. Yes, that's a really good motivation speech to
Yes.
get people going. Thank you so much for your time and telling us a little bit more about the great initiative of Salvando Mares. And, it's really great to see how you started from beach cleanups and helping the local communities to also seeing how you're working with local services and looking into circular economy and practices around the plastic that you are picking up and collecting and being reutilized, as well as the other government initiatives of education and going into the schools and really teaching the next generation how to conserve our planet. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Ingrid.